What's up, everybody? We're here with another episode of One-on-One MMA Clinic. This weekend, we're looking at UFC Fight Night, Mackenzie Dern versus Xiaonan. As always, I'm here with my brother, Alexander Ryachich. So if you're not ready, it's time to get ready. We got some more fight talk coming your way. Let's go.
Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother.
We are back from 1 week without UFC. I'm going back to my strange beast. Getting strange.
What about tomorrow night? You want to get strange? Are you ready to have a couple beers?
A little bit. I don't want to speak too soon. I know I messed the last couple ones. Last one I was battling some cold virus or some shit. But I'm good now, so we'll see. We'll see how I am tomorrow.
Okay. You're invited.
I hope so. All right. We got a card this weekend. I'm not gonna say it's the biggest card that we've talked about, but there's fights on here.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I wanted to say like when our intro was going, are you ready? Are you ready? I was asking, not really. Like I think like after that last card, then we had like a week off, and with the new work, like working a lot, like I didn't really get ready, but like let's see what we have in our sleeves. Maybe we have some hidden cards, to do something good this weekend.
Yeah, usually it's these fighters that I don't know a lot of these fighters, and usually these are the events that they kind of like show up, when they have a lot of things to prove.
Yeah,
But
I think so. Yeah, maybe it's like starting like a sleeping one, but it's gonna be very exciting one. Like especially like the first one. I think it's gonna be very interesting one.
mhm.
Um, we have first Mike Davis again, Vyacheslav Boroshev.
I'll
Boroshev.
take your word for that. That first name I've never heard of before. But
Borshchev.
Borshev, I think Borshev, that's close enough.
Borchev. I think Borchev. Borchev
Borshev.
will
All
be
right,
the
even that I got
proper.
wrong. But yeah, no, I think this will actually be a good fight. Borchev, he likes the boxing. Not too long ago, he actually finished one of his fights with a body shot. So anytime I see someone, especially in MMA, finishing a fight with like a body punch, that's pretty cool to me. But like I said, he mostly likes to rely on his boxing. Mike Davis, I think that's maybe not a good plan to use against Mike Davis. He actually has a professional boxing record, a small record, but undefeated, 3-0, which is still impressive.
Yeah,
Um,
two KOs.
yeah, and like even more impressive to me is actually like even coming from professional boxing, this dude throws kicks and he has like a lot of different kicks in his arsenal, from question mark kicks, teeps. He likes calf kicks, kicks to the liver. He will start and end his combination with kicks. So, I mean, I would never guess that he's a boxer the way that he mixes it up. And I think against Borshev, who likes to box, I like Mike Davis in this one. I think he's going to get it done, maybe even KO. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think he's like super dangerous, like super explosive. And interesting fact, talking about boxing, I think he actually started like his boxing career in Cas D'Amato's gym. Like, and I mean his name is Mike. He's not Tyson, but like and also what's interesting about this, like him and what's the name, Sadiq Yusuf, they're on the same card. And actually that was like they had like in 2017-18, I think, Dana White Contender Series fight, uh
Mm.
where uh where he didn't get a contract, like he lost, but he had a solid performance until his leg got chopped,
Mhm.
and he didn't manage to get a contract. But after that, he got a contract, and actually, like, he had pretty tough, like, fight on his enter to UFC against Gilbert Burns, and that's his
Hmm.
only loss in UFC. And after that, like two wins, so I think like he's on the rise, like he has something special about him. And I think he will get this one, talking about the odds, he's like not slight favorite, but one, minus 180, but something that we can play around. And I think he's gonna get this job done. I think he'll just have more weapons, more power than Boroshev. So I'm gonna go with Mike on this one.
Yep, sounds like we're in agreement with that one. All right, next one we're looking at Daniel Santos versus John Castaneda.
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 Yeah.
You're the honorary Mexican between us, so I'll take your word
Yeah.
for it.
And actually, I met him in Mexico. Like I
Oh,
think
no way.
2020, right after his first UFC fight. That he lost, but like he's now the last two fights he won, and he won by finish, and he looks pretty damn good. Like I really like his style. He's pushing the pace. He's going for the finish. He's smartly picking his shots. I like his kicks. He's from the southpaw. He's throwing that back foot, his left kick to the body, to the head, and then when he stepped forward, he's throwing one more time. I really like that combination that he's doing with the leg kicks. And his last fight, he finished even on submission. Um, and but like he got the who was his last opponent? What was his name? Sorry, Miles Jones. I think that was like his biggest challenge. Jones is really powerful hands, like really throwing heavy, and he managed to get through a couple like a big shots, and managed to put really nice display with the
Mhm.
combination, with the entering, and he rocked him pretty good, like even in the end of the second round, and he managed to finish him in the third round. So I think John is in how he looked in his last two fights. I think he has this one, for sure. Santos, he's really unpredicted with that spinning
Yeah.
stuff that he throws. He even like have, I think, three fights that he finished on the two on the spinning kick and one on the spinning elbow or fist. I'm not sure, but like he's really unpredictable, like so he can surprise. But I think just the pace that John put, it's gonna be too much for him, and he just like enter UFC. Uh, he had 0-1, like so. I think, especially like after entering to UFC and having defeat, it's a question how he will deal with that. And I think John will be too much for him, so I see John winning this one.
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned you met him, and this is like maybe the third one that we've done in a row where you've kind of have some ties to one of these fighters. Normally, I would say like you probably met him in the gym, but because it's in Mexico, did you meet him on a beach when you were there?
No, we actually met at the gym, like the
Yeah.
place that I went to train jiu-jitsu. So I had the chance to train with him. Like we even went for dinner, my girl and his girl. Like so we were hanging a little bit together. He likes really. I mean, he's Mexican, but like I think he was born in U.S. I cannot remember now exactly, but like what I know, he really likes to go over there. Like he's into diving. Him and his wife, they were doing some training over there, and a couple times we met at the gym and train. And like I was surprised that he's fighting in that category. I was like, bro,
Oh,
you're
really?
so big. Like his head is bigger than mine. I'm like, how do you manage to cut down? Like like I was really surprised. I was thinking he's fighting in 145, but 135, like props to him, cutting all that weight and getting in that category. I think he's really big for that category.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I feel like every few years we see like these fighters like pushing the very limits of how much they can cut. Um, but I mean, it's impressive if he can get it done, and it looks like he's been, performing to his abilities. That is interesting. You did mention like Santos. He likes to throw a lot of spinning attacks, which I think it's pretty cool. Sometimes it's on the verge of being like a little bit reckless, and I think with Castaneda, as much as like his striking is good, he does have a lot of submission victories. And against someone like Santos, who's always throwing spinning attacks, I wonder if Casanata is kind of going to wait for that and see kind of an opening to take him down from the back. Because we've seen even in like the higher levels of MMA, like if you throw an ill-timed spinning attack, you give up your back. Sometimes you don't recover from that. It's a takedown, and then you get pounded out, or in Castanada's case, maybe choked out, because he does have those good submissions. He's a brown belt under Greg Nelson, someone who's been in the game, known for his grappling ability, coaching ability for a while now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Castaneda gets another submission because one of those spinning attacks. But either way, these guys are going to put on an exciting fight, no doubt.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like, and John is like pretty much almost like the same like in the previous match, like minus 190, little bit higher favorite. So that's something that maybe like you can play around. So like I said, even though it's like a minus 190, I would go with John.
Mm. Yep, a little bit of favorites, but not so big. It's not worth betting on. So we're both going Castaneda. Who we got next? Oh, speaking of Sadiq Youssef, we got him next against the shameless Don Shanis. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, he's really shameless, or he's like,
Faceless Don Shanis.
yeah, there's no picture. Um, yeah, this one, I think, I don't know. Like from the betting aspect, I would even skip it. Like it's minus 900 on Sadiq, you know.
Mhm.
So maybe no, this is not the highest one, or it is. Wait, let me just check something. How much was on? No, Kamzat was like 1250. Like, but this is one of the highest that we had so far. So I don't know. I mean, I got Sadiq, but like from the betting aspect, I would just say like if you want to play around and you want to go with the shameless and you're not ashamed to lose some money, like why not? Like you can gamble it. Like anything can happen, Like and also like shameless, he has like some finishes in the first round, not
Yeah.
against such a great competition, but like still he can finish the fight.
Yeah.
And like everybody have a puncher's chance and he have even puncher's power, so why not to play a little bit with that? It's like plus 625, so think about it, guys.
Yeah, that's not a bad call, especially when you see such a big underdog like that with the finishing power that he has. One thing to know is like he's also got a crazy good chin. I saw one of his more recent fights outside of the UFC, and he got wobbled pretty early. He went on a single leg, was able to buy himself some time, and eventually he finished the guy with shots of his own. So that was impressive, but of course, like you said, not against like the biggest name competition. This is his first UFC fight. So I think honestly, while of course he does have the puncher's chance, that those were fights against lesser competition. A lot of his finishes are in the first round, so I kind of wonder how is he going to do against higher competition if it lasts longer than a round. How's his gas tank going to be, especially in his first fight in the UFC? To me, I'm kind of seeing this as like a setup for Sadiq Youssef to kind of win this fight and maybe even spectacularly. I'm going with Yusuf on this one. Like if your chances are to finish somebody quick, I think Sadiq Yusuf, that's going to be very difficult to do against him. So I'm going with Yusuf, probably a decision, but maybe he could even knock him out.
You're going with decision?
I think so. Yeah.
I think
I mean,
this
I
fight
think
will
he's
not
got
be.
great striking, but and as dynamic as it is, I'm thinking decision.
Yeah, okay. No, I think like Sadiq will pick him apart, like he
Yeah.
will just like choose the punches, and I think he will finish him. Especially, I think Shameless will try to go for that one, and then it's gonna give the opening. Like honestly, I don't see this one going till the end, but like maybe you saw something that I didn't, so let's see.
That's the thing. Like normally, if I see someone making their UFC debut, especially against someone like Youssef, maybe I'd say he's getting finished. But I did see him take some nasty shots, and he was still standing there. Found a way to drag it out. So yeah, I kind of think decision. That's what
Again,
I think.
lesser competition, like
That's true.
nobody is mixing up. Like Sadiq is really good in mixing up and finding finding the that little point where he should go for, and that we saw also against Mike Davis. How he chopped his leg and took
Hmm.
like his power. So and even like I don't think Don is even on close to the level of Mike Davis.
True.
So I don't see him surviving this fight. I mean, I'm giving him a chance to maybe win it, but I don't give him a chance to survive the fight. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I heard like Chael Sutton say one time, like you see these guys that always go for the finish. Like if you put it all out there to get a finish and you don't get it, you're probably gonna get finished yourself, because it takes a lot of energy. And if you spend all that energy for nothing, you could possibly get finished, which kind of like is what I'm thinking about in the main event. But we're not quite there yet.
Yeah,
This is nice though. I kind of like to disagree, and I think Shannis will last the 3 rounds.
I have a one question for UFC. Like, okay, the Shameless Don Shanis, who
Yeah,
he got upset that he got like such a matchup in his debut.
yeah,
That,
right.
that's the question. I don't know. Was it a short notice that that he got in? Like I really didn't check that. Did someone was supposed to fight against Sadiq and then get out?
Mhm.
Uh, like I said, we didn't have. Maybe no. I cannot find it now quickly. I was really because now when I start thinking about it, never mind. If if they set it up and it's not short notice, I'm honestly asking like who doesn't like him?
Right. He must have kicked someone's dog or something.
Yeah,
But
I
you never
wanted to
know with the
mention wife.
UFC.
I wanted to mention someone wife, but like, let's go to the next one.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that sounds good. So next up, we got Trevin Jones versus how you say this, Rowney Barcelos.
Downey Barcelos.
All right. So this one's a kind of a toss up for me. Trevin Jones, he's 2-2 in the UFC. Though one of those wins was overturned because he tested positive for weed. I count that as a win still. I don't think anyone's counting that as really a PED or a loss. So he's 2-2 in the UFC, going against Rowney Barcelos, who's 5-2 in the UFC. When it's this close of a matchup, sometimes I just lean towards who has more experience in the UFC because I think that does matter. And in the more experience that Barcelos has, he's got a couple fight of the night bonuses. So he's not just winning fights, but he's actually putting on a good performance. And I think that means a little bit more than so far what Trevin Jones has done. But they're both coming off of losses. Usually, I like to think where they're at. This will make them come back hungrier to win. Even then, I still got Barcelos in this one just because he's got a little bit more experience in there. How about you?
Yeah, similar something. What you said, like I agree with you, like on that one. Like he's 2-2 in UFC. Like I don't count that one as a no contest, even like officially is no contest. Same thing. This one for me, it was like I didn't know where to go. I think both of them are fighting for the job. I don't think whoever lose this fight that he will stay in UFC. With
Mhm.
three losses in a row. So it's pretty like this one was like super hard to decide on me. So I was looking the odds, and so basically the Trevin is underdog with minus 195. Raoni is the favorite minus 230. So interesting fact, like talking about that no contest or a win, they had the same opponent that they both had,
Mm.
Valiev, if I'm not mistaken. So and Trevin had the performance of the night and against Valiev, he won that fight. Later was no contest, but like interesting, Raoni lost
Hmm.
from if you're doing the math, so maybe there is something, like I was looking to find anything like in this matchup, that can make a difference. And like actually Raoni, when he lost, that was fight of the night. So
Mhm.
if you go like this, they both had like a performance of the night and fight of the night against the same guy. So I'm like, can we expect a great fight? You know, and that maybe it's something that I would give like maybe to Trevin, like something
Mhm.
that he have a chance to win this fight, especially like he's like how much? Like I said, plus 195. So maybe I would play a little bit there because like I don't have so much ideas for this weekend, and maybe there is something, and especially on plus 195. So I'm gonna go with Trevin, and just so we have something different. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
really
mean that's a good point too. You don't always want to rely just on MMA math, but when it's this close, sometimes those are the things that kind of sway your decision. But yeah, I'm sticking with Barcelos. Um, let's see how it goes. It's probably going to be a good fight. Um, shall we go to the next one?
yep. Let's go.
All right, next up we got the UFC veteran Francisco Trinaldo versus Randy Brown. A old man versus a not as old man.
Yeah, I was super surprised when I saw that he's 44 years old and he's fighting. Okay, like let's say if it's fighting in heavyweight, even in light heavyweight, but he's fighting in welterweight.
Mhm.
He's 44 years old. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
especially he won his last two fights. Isn't that crazy?
That is, I mean, usually when you see someone who's fighting for over 10 years in the UFC, 44 years old, you don't expect them to have a winning record towards the end. And he manages to pull it off still. It's impressive. Like the guys that he's beaten too along that way, like some notable names, no champions, but all these guys are very tough. Like Bobby Green, John McDessie, Paul Felder, Jim Miller, Evan Dunham, Yancy Medeiros. Like these aren't scrubs that he's just skating by, and that's why the UFC is keeping him because he's winning and he's doing it against good guys.
Yeah, I think like even like in his whole career, he didn't have like two losses connected. No,
Mhm.
he never had it. Like he lost from Kevin Lee, from Rick Hernandez, but always there was like a win between the his losses. Like and it's just like it's amazing for me. I don't know, like number one, where he's finding even motivation to train, not even to fight. Like it's
Yeah.
44 years. I don't know how he's managing, but like props to him. Like I think like he's unique person, like in any of, like, let's say from light heavyweight to down, like middleweight, and I don't think no one fought in that age. Maybe how old is like Romero?
Romero, he's got to be. I don't think he's 44, maybe 41 or two.
Yeah, something like that. But when he
Yeah.
was in UFC, I think he was under 40.
But
Let's say
but
like,
even now, I think Romero's like his last fight was at heavyweight, right?
yeah,
Or like up there. Usually, you don't see guys cutting weight and fighting at 170 for it. So props to this guy.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah, who do you got here?
Well, we just praised Trinaldo so much, and for good reason. But I'm just thinking this is the time where it might, come to an end. Not an end, but it's going to catch up to him. Randy Brown's 12 years younger. He's fought some good guys as well. KS Williams, I think he's a very talented fighter, and he was able to beat KS Williams in his last go. So he's got some notable wins. Like I said, Chaos. He's got Cowboy Oliveira, Brian Barberena. This guy's no slouch, and I think he's young. He's a bit bigger, right? He's got an 8-inch reach advantage. He's taller than him by quite a bit. I think the size and the youth is going to be just too much for Trinaldo. Part of me wants to see Trinaldo win because of the age, but I'm going Randy Brown with this one.
Yeah. Um, so what I was looking, like, I think maybe he's even the tallest guy in that category. Like, and he's really athletic. Like how, like his style reminds me like of Diaz brothers, just
Mhm.
like athletic version of Diaz brothers.
Yeah,
Like, mm, he's just gonna be too much, I think. Like even though I like I like what I saw from Trinaldo, I think against Grant, who is like 2 inches shorter, and it's really like a similar, I think, style to Randy Brown, and he
Mhm.
managed to win that one. Like he was like so patient, waiting, using that his backhand, and managed to really put the damage
Mhm.
on Danny Roberts. So we will see, can he use the same tactic? Just like for me, in my opinion, I think Randy is like more athletic, and he will manage to go. He will not manage to use the same strategy. I see that's something that he will use, but I'm not sure that he's going to be that effective. To
Mhm.
be more precise,
Yeah, and I think like Francisco, he does have power. I don't think he has very many TKOs or KOs on his record, but he does tend like when he connects enough, the people fight a little bit differently, a little bit more reserved. So as athletic as Randy Brown is, maybe if he eats a few shots that could change some things, but I just think the size is going to be a little bit too much this time. Size and athleticism.
yeah,
Do
I
you
agree.
do you
And
think there's a finish in this fight?
I see it. I
Mm,
think very easily, because like depends again, like how Trinaldo is gonna fight. How it's gonna go. If he managed to put the hands on him early,
mhm.
and then Randy has to chase like a difference to get to the scorecards very easily. You
Yeah,
know, on either way. Even though, like we said, Ronaldo doesn't have like uh, too many finishes, but he can finish you. That's for
yeah,
sure. So I can see the finish in this one, but like talking about, he is like pretty big underdog. I mean, not huge, but like plus 260. And Randy is like minus 315
mhm.
favorite. So in my opinion, like maybe like to like you said, like not going till the end. or maybe like play around and try on Trinaldo. But like I think he will not manage to get this one. It's gonna be too much for him.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that you'd be happy to be wrong, though, I think.
I agree. I agree.
Um, all right, so that's it for the co-main event. Let's move on to the main event. We got the ladies, Mackenzie Dern versus Yan Xiaonan. Let's see who you got in this one.
Ooh. I see something that Young can win it. I'm gonna go against Jiu-Jitsu World,
Mhm.
and just like even though Mackenzie Dern look amazing in her last match, like like the hands. I mean, not amazing,
Yeah,
but like I'm
definitely
talking,
improved.
yeah, improved striking wise. Even though like she was still going like a little bit wild and losing like. She wasn't that not even close technically sound.
Hmm.
um, you can see some improvement, especially I think her pace that she's pushing through the rounds, and especially I think against the loss again Rodriguez 5 rounds she was preparing, and then the last fight was like 3 rounds, and now she's again going to the 5 rounds. Like even like how to say setting up the form, like you're going on the higher, you'll go lower a little bit down, you have a good performance, and now you have experience to again peak for the five
Hmm.
rounds. So that I give advantage to Mackenzie Dern, and that's like a big factor in my opinion in this match. Even though I can see like Jan, especially training with alpha male, like defending that wrestling, even though Mackenzie doesn't have like that perfect wrestling to put you down. Like she's like more trying to pull you down or pull the guard, like she's not like wrestling oriented, she's more like I'm trying to get you down any possible way, in my
Hmm.
opinion. But like also the movement of Yan, like how she's always staying away just a little bit from the punches and then cutting the corner and then like really fast hands. And I think she's more deadly than Tisha Torres, and that's why like I see that she can win this fight. That's why I said like I'm gonna surprise and I'm gonna go against Jiu-Jitsu World, and especially like on plus 195. You know,
Yeah.
I can see something. Like even though if they go down, even though Mackenzie didn't have like in how many fights did she didn't have a finish? Like okay, she had like 2 fights ago, like or better said 3 fights ago. She had a finish against Nunez.
Hmm. I think you broke it down pretty nicely. One thing I gotta add with Dern that adds to why Jan has a good chance of winning is the gas tank. Um, Even though maybe she's learned from her fight with Marina, which was 5 rounds, even still, even in the Tisha Torres fight, when she throws so much power into all of her strikes, which she does, I mean, I don't know if she has the gas tank to kind of keep up with that. And then you couple that with the fact that, even though she's a jujitsu specialist, probably has the best jujitsu in that division, if not, the UFC right now. She's not known for her wrestling. So if she tries to wrestle, she's going to get even more tired. Um, but having said that, her guard is so good that if she pulls guard, like none of these girls are gonna stand a chance. Even if she doesn't get the submission, she's so offensive from her back. She's winning that, and she's one of the few fighters that you could say like she's winning the fight off of her back, even if she doesn't get the submission.
Yeah, like
Um,
even she can give you a submission and then start like attacking you from that. Like if you remember in the fight again, Rodriguez had even good like what was that like a Bravo choke or Dars
mm,
from down, and like she managed to end up like from submission attempt like in position there where she almost got finished, like it was like a crucifix. it's crazy. Like
Yeah,
you said, like if they touch the ground, Dern is like really dangerous. She's pushing the pace and she's looking for the finish all the time. But like for me, it's just like question like she has to work on better way, more effectively, uh, to get to the ground, not to like spend so much energy. You know, like
yeah,
efficiency to get to the ground. Maybe even like you said, maybe the pulling the guard is the best solution. You know, and she's doing that a lot of
yeah.
time.
I would say like against most people, even for most people, I would say like don't advise them to pull guard, but like Mackenzie Dern's one of them that could definitely get away with it, I think. Especially against Jan, who like I always root for the Asians. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Like I'm repping that yellow flag, but she doesn't have a lot of power. So I think the Mackenzie Dern can afford to take more chances. You know, she likes to throw a heavy leather, and she has a good chin. She's probably going to be willing to eat a few punches against Xiaonan and even pull guard and eat a few punches there. Like, I don't think that's going to trouble her. Maybe it's not the best thing to rely on your chin, but she does it, and she gets away with it. So, um, yeah, but like that's the thing with like Xiaonan. Like you mentioned it like pretty well, like how she pivots, she turns a corner, and she has fast flurries with the hands. But man, like she just finds a way to win. She was on a crazy streak before she fought Carla Esparza, who eventually became the champion, and then Marina Rodriguez. But before those two losses, she was beating like the who's who of 115. You know, Angela Hill, Carolina. I don't know how to say her last name. Kowalczyk maybe. Claudia Gadelha. Like these are people in the upper ends of the division. So, she's got a lot of experience against people who have fought for the title. This is going to be a tough one for Mackenzie Dern, especially in 5 rounds. But I'm at odds between like Team Asia and then like Team Jiu Jitsu. Uh, I'm going Dern though. I'm going
No,
Dern.
okay. You said like I wanted to make it easier for you. I'm like at least she have a yellow equipment, you know, like I'm at least you're getting a little bit what you
Yeah.
want. You know? So it's team yellow. So you
In
didn't
2022, it's not yet racist for me to say that. I've got yellow pride. Maybe in a few years it'll be racist, but I'm hanging on to that right now.
I don't know. Still on racism, yellow people are like still under the radar, so you can say what the fuck ever you want.
Yeah.
Uh, Talking about that, like what now you went outside of the box. So I had something to say and I was like,
Something about fighting.
never mind. Like I said, we're gonna keep it short. Yeah, like yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like even like honestly, in my opinion, Jan against Rodriguez, like it was split decision, you know, and it was like razor close. So I was even
Yeah.
giving the win to her, you know. So it's also a question like, so basically she maybe had only one loss against the champion. So
I thought Jan won that too. I didn't know if I was biased, but yeah,
yeah,
I
okay,
thought
okay, maybe you are.
so. Yeah, I am, but that doesn't mean that maybe she didn't win.
Yeah, saying about that, like I don't even consider that she lost the last fight. You know, probably she doesn't consider, and she have even more motivation to come and show. And I think like she's gonna find a way to win and maybe even to finish. Like however crazy that sounds, I think she can finish this fight. You know,
Right.
only the deal is like if it goes down to the ground, don't go to do ground and pound because like you can end
Yeah.
up finish. So that's why, especially even 5 rounds, this fight I think it's gonna be like I think with the reason it's a main event. Like sometimes when I see like I'm like, why is this main event? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I get like why those matchmakers get paid how much they get paid. They're going in the depth like, and this fight can go to the crazy dimensions like you know like when you put the scenarios on like
Hmm.
we never know what we're gonna get on Saturday, but like I can see this going like and be amazing to fight. Amazing fight.
Yeah, just the styles on their own, like make it exciting, but also where these women are in the division. Like, I think if Jan wins, she might fight for a title next because her, even though she lost to Rodriguez, like you said, it was so close. And then the one before that was Carla, who is the champion now. So I still don't think she's that far from a title fight. And then Mackenzie Dern, for maybe some obvious reasons, the UFC likes to market her, and if she does well, that's just going to help her chances to get that much closer to a title shot that much faster.
Yeah, I think even like if she wins the fight, she's getting it almost for sure. For
Yeah.
Jan, I wouldn't be that sure
Uh,
as you are. So, but let's see. Let's see. I
you
think
know
we are.
what would be crazy is Yan Xiaonan versus Weili Zhang, two Chinese women for the title, because Weili's fighting next for the title. Just saying, Asia's representing right here.
I don't know how you're gonna decide for who you're gonna cheer. Don't be
It's
greedy.
win-win.
Don't be greedy. One is enough.
That's true. Yeah, we already got one. That's true. All
Okay,
right.
buddy. Let's wrap it up. Like we
Yeah.
said, we try to keep this as short as possible. I guess 41 minutes was the shortest. Like
Yeah.
so.
Short and sweet. I do think that is our shortest one so far. And we did
Yeah,
6 fights, so
that's true. That's true. We had one fight more. Yeah, let's go. Maybe next Wednesday, next weekend, there's no fights, so maybe we are not promising, but like maybe we're gonna get some middleweight. We're gonna talk maybe about some categories and some fighters. You mentioned something middleweight, but we're gonna keep that for the next week.
yeah. I heard some things about Dern talking about getting a submission, maybe some leg locks. So maybe that happens. We got more to talk about. We'll see.
See you next week.
All right. Enjoy the fights, y'all. Peace.